Alright, so today's the day. We're going to go ahead and change the transmission mount to a Wevo semi-solid mount. This one right here. And we're going to use the AGA tool to press out the original one on this 1999 C2 911 here. And we're also going to do a numeric shifter with the cables. And I think this is a good job to do together because you're going to have a little bit more room to run the cables through the transmission, through the pass-through from the interior to the exterior. So it's a good job to do together. And we're going to do it all on jack stands. So I'll show you how I lift up the car and do that. And we're going to do it right here. We are in Akiru no Tokyo. It's the summertime and it is hot and humid, so it feels like a steam sauna today. But that's okay. We're gonna press forward. I got my brother here to help. He's visiting from California, and yeah, see what happens. All right, so we got the front up on those jack points, and now the rear, we are going from that suspension arm connection point. Real stable. The center one is weak. There's no real mounting point, so you can bend it. So that's what we're gonna do here.
So when you remove the bolts, will the tranny just drop down?
We need to support it with the floor jack, but not fully. But it can kind of move down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, let's.
It's gotta go down though quite a ways, right?
No, it doesn't gonna go down. So all we gotta take these panels off.
Yeah.
And then
I mean the angle of the transmission to clear to have it drop completely out of that to where you can remove that thing. It's gotta go down, you know, that far.
All right, so we're underneath the car here, and this is the single transmission mount that we're going to be changing.
Morning.
Oh, actually, I need to take this off too because I need to remove that. Anyways, this is what we're trying to get to right here. And the reason I say it's also a good time is to do the cables, as you can see here. You're going to be taking off this brace. You could loosen up this and kind of get a little bit more space through here. But what I've noticed is this guy's actually changed the cables because these ends are not the original one. This is a known problem on these cars, at least the 996, maybe even the 997, that these pop off and then you're stuck in whatever gear. But these are different. So, but that's the problem is that I'm facing right now is the shifter's kind of gummy. And it might be from these cables. I don't know, maybe something's going on with these cables. Oh man, so I have like the factory shift boot for the 996 here. It's nice leather. But most of the videos you watch, it's like, oh, pull this up and there's an Allen key and then there's no, like this one's just kind of rubber like that. And some of them twist, and this one is just brute force. I had to pull and pull and pull, and it just popped off. So if you have this type of shifter, yeah, I think there's enough videos about how to take all the dash and this thing off. Maybe I'll put the link of the guy I used. I think he did a really good job, very professional about not breaking clips and stuff. So I'll show you that link. But yeah, that was unique. So anyways, just pull it if you have this style.
Like, how do you get started?
Ride and jump off a cliff? No.
Like, how does that thing get off and untangle?
So now we can just take off these bolts here. And we actually got to remove. Remove these guys. And then that's the real rubber grommet thing. There.
Will this just slide out?
Here.
Yours
We're working on cars and interior. You know, you always got these little clips and stuff, and I tend to hate those things because, you know, they can break. But another thing I was kind of worried about on this job is this little rubber grommet is pushing that through. But it was replaced. These cables are not factory, so those were replaced, and so it looks like it's actually going to be easier because it's kind of slippery already. Get that popped out. So we're going to use a big screwdriver and try to pry that out. But yeah, it's actually going pretty good. There you go. I actually pushed on it with this. Pushed it. The flathead screwdriver was a little too sharp.
Yeah,
and
sometimes you need something like that.
Yeah, so that worked pretty good. And it was already lubed, you can see. All right, you know, we'll use the Dyson. Get your thing all nice and clean there. And, you know, I'll start selling the numeric shifter here in Japan and the Wevo engine mounts. And I'll actually come to your place if you want and install this setup just like I did mine. You'll see the cable replacements. I think they messed up the adjustments on the cable replacements over there. So, you know, my car, you could also come and take a look, see how it feels, test out the products, kind of see if that's what you want to do. And if you like it, you know, we can place the order and I can come and install it at your place. Or, you know, soon I'll have a shop to do it. But it's kind of cool coming to your place. It kind of reminds me of that RWB guy. Comes to your place, does the project, gets it done, leaves. I mean, this is a lot simpler, I guess. And but I like that kind of concept, so I'm trying that out. So I think these must be like 997 cable ends or something, because these are different than what I've seen. But it looks like the kind of factory setup. So I had to cut this rubber grommet to get it off, and then to use it with those cables, the numeric cables, and then the numeric shifter unit, all CNC'd aluminum, the cool little pivot there. You can see here the factory one is just all plastic and like some movement in all the pieces. I mean, it's not bad, I guess, but this is a definite improvement. And because this is your input point to the car, I think it's critical to have something with a nice feel. So I'm gonna get the new one bolted in, start running the cables through, and then we're gonna go ahead and do the transmission mount, puller, stuff like that. So that's really why I have the car lifted up. I mean, you do have to run the cables and connect them underneath, and so it's easier to lift it up. Man, this thing's beautiful. I almost don't want to put in the center console. No, you need it once you put the cable, and then you got the thing there. But man, that thing's beautiful. So you want to make sure, you know, get the angle
check this way, check from the top kind of, and then just do it by eyeball and then make sure that it fits through all the gears or goes through all the gears. All right, so back together. It's really not bad. I'm surprised by the quality of how this thing goes back together. So we're gonna hide this thing with this. Now no one's gonna know unless they actually drive it. All right, so we got the support beam here, the kind of subframe mount thing there. We've got the AG tool in place. So you can see how if you don't have this tool, you probably have to drop the transmission out. I mean, maybe you can come up with something and pull it out in place, but this tool makes it really nice. And so we're gonna get this 13 mil here and pull this guy all the way through here, and then that'll pop out. So, you know, if you have a hydraulic lift, you can get the car up in the air and then just use this. It's real easy to swap this guy out. So this is different. This is a Carrera C2, and you know, the turbo and the GT3 transmission mounts are a lot different. So you have to be aware of that. 911 Carrera, the differences of that one right there.
And then that's Kai. And then look, it says he's watching UFC. In the middle watching UFC.
So the AGA tool worked pretty good. Pulled this one out. It wasn't too difficult. I mean, I did it on the ground over here and was able to get the original one out. So pretty good.
Oh yeah, but if they have another fight.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. See, and their fighters are fighting those deep fights. So if I, like that's, yeah, one of the guys that fought.
All right, so there's the new one in place. So the black is aluminum and the yellow is orange is polyurethane. So that's the semi-solid. Take out the vibration, but take out the oscillation of the engine and transmission. All right, so I finally got the through bolts through the transmission mount. You know, kind of getting everything lined up. It's kind of difficult, especially on the ground there without that much clearance. But we got it. So now I just got to tighten everything up, torque everything down, and then we're good to go. So I'll do a detailed review about the numeric shifter and cables and the Wevo transmission mount for Carrera C2. I also already have the Wevo engine mounts, the two on the back, the semi-solid ones. So if you check my other video, you can check me installing those. Those are quite simple. The transmission mount's a lot harder. But just the engine mounts made a drastic improvement with that engine oscillation kind of that upsets the balance of the car when you're coming into a corner, downshifting, accelerating, things like that. So I think this is going to really make a big difference. I'm excited to do the review.
All right, so we've got the two Wevo engine mounts in the back, and then we've got one semi-solid transmission mount in the front on this, in the transmission. So both are semi-solid, using a small polyurethane ring, basically compressed within some aluminum, and that's what's holding the motor and the transmission. And the reason I decided to go with that is the factory ones allow for the engine and transmission to move around quite a bit and to even feel some oscillation and upsetting the balance of the car and just making it feel loose and not much of a sports car, more of like something that's trying to be really comfortable. And so I really wanted to try to get that out and see how it would make the car feel, and could I do it without too much noise, vibration, and things like that. Right away, when I had the transmission mount in and I went to start the car, it just turned over and started, and like, just, you can notice the difference right from there. When the car's idling and you're inside of it, there's no like harsh, weird vibration coming through anything. I mean, it's a little bit more louder. You can hear the drivetrain. You can hear the transmission when you're actually driving the car, you hear a lot more of the gearbox noises. Shifting through the gears, you can hear that quite a bit. It's definitely louder in the car. You hear the engine, you hear the transmission, you hear going through the gears. It's a lot louder in here. But it's all road noises and engine noises, transmission noises. So it feels right to me. I mean, it's a little bit going from the factory in and going to here. It can feel harsh, but the car feels a lot better driving experience-wise for pure performance. I've seen some reviews of people driving the GT3 and they say there's a lot of gearbox noise and it's really loud in the car. I kind of feel like that might be something similar to this. I mean, that's a different engine, different gearbox. So, I don't know, we'll see. And, you know, going through the gears, revving this thing up, everything intensifies with this engine mounting setup. But I don't know, I think I like it. I'm driving the car into work today. It's a 45-minute drive. Okay, see, I got on a little bit there. I think you can probably hear it quite a bit louder. But again, it's nothing like any weird vibrations or anything like harsh that wasn't already coming through. It's just not as muffled, I guess. Especially the gearbox. But the shifting feels way more engaged. So I do have the numeric shifter in here, so it's quite a bit shorter. I put it on the middle setting. It's quite a bit shorter and a lot more mechanical. There's not any of that give. But with the transmission mount, the engine mount, and the numeric shifter, it just clicks in. It takes a little bit more force, but it just clicks in. Click, click, click. There's none of that kind of like squish to it, but you're hearing all that noise coming through. So I think if you're getting a 911 for a pure performance, fun driving experience, I think this setup could be good. If you're looking for something like, yeah, I want a performance car, but I want it to be comfortable, maybe not. If you want to have conversations with your friends on a long drive, you know, maybe it's not quite right. So, but I think for me, it's pretty good, and I like it. So guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I want to keep making videos, keep working on this car. I think the next thing I'll do is brake rotors. I know that's not too exciting, but there's some interesting Japanese companies that make two-piece rotors for this thing. So I think I'm gonna try those out. Two-piece rotors. I don't think I'm gonna go with a big brake kit or anything. I want to keep it don't mess too much with the ABS, I guess. That, and then maybe some of the suspension bushings, replace those. Then exhaust. I'm looking at some exhaust systems. There are some cool Japanese suppliers, titanium ones, stainless steel, some interesting designs and options. So maybe try some of those out as well. anyways, yeah, if there's something that you want to see, something you think I should consider for modifying this car, yeah, let me know. I'm curious about your input. Oh yeah, there's one other thing. The rims. These are the Turbo Look 18-inch rims. And this car was actually optioned with the two-piece, the Sports 1, not the Sports Classics 2, which I like those, the two-piece kind of mesh-looking LM style. But this came with the rims, the two-piece rims that came on the 996.1 GT3. So I'm thinking about switching those out, getting those rims, putting it on this car. I'm starting to really like the way those rims look, and they came on the GT3. They were optioned with this car. I don't know who would change them out for Turbo Look wheels, but I'm actually starting to like these turbo wheels, the look of them. I don't like that they're look and not the actual hollow spoke turbo wheels, but the aesthetics I'm starting to kind of like. But anyways, let's get the kind of the coolest rims that were optioned on this car, the 996.1. And then we'll start looking at some real lightweight track kind of wheels or something like that. Because there is some local tracks around here, around Tokyo, that I want to start going to and driving this car a little bit more aggressively and learning the limits of the car. What's the difference of, you know, a front engine car compared to this rear engine setup, and how the weight transfer and the handling of the car is at that limit. I haven't had any experience with the 911 at the edge. I've driven, you know, quite a bit of cars at the edge, all front wheel drive, some rotary front wheel drives as well, RX-8s. So yeah, I'm excited to take you guys on this journey. So please like and subscribe and follow along. And seeing your guys' comments are so great. Like, it's just cool that people would take the time, write something, tell me about what you thought or what you're working on, or your experience in Japan. It's all real cool. I'm trying to build a community and make friends, you know, as well. So anyways, hope you liked the video. Take care, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Try to get a little bit of an example of the sound coming through here at higher revs for you guys. There was quite a bit of traffic on the freeway, but you can hear a little like rattle in the transmission. Put the clutch in and it goes away. Oh, that was it. I missed the turn again. Last time I turned in early. All right,
I think that gives you a little bit more of an example of what it sounds like at higher RPMs. See what it sounds like through this camera. This camera usually, this GoPro, the sound is a little bit muffled. I feel like you feel it more in the car, and the GoPro kind of quiets it down a little bit. So I don't know. Let's see. I'll add some voiceover on it to see how it matches my feeling inside the car.